Cory Johnson, what's more important right now, the earnings or the delay of the Model X at Tesla?
Yeah, I would say the earnings not really at all. First of all, there were no earnings. The company lost money, lost more money, in fact, this quarter than any quarter in which they've been making the Model S, losing over $70 million in the quarter. I think that what's important is the deliveries that they achieved in the third quarter, and it was pretty much in line with what they said they would be, and I think a lot of people were betting that that was not going to be the case. And the second thing was the deliveries they're going to have next quarter, when they told everyone they're going to have over 13,000, and now it's going to be a lot closer to 11,000. That's disappointing news for people that believe that the Tesla was, as hot as things could be. And then the delay of that Model X, I would agree, is also another disappointing thing. There are analysts out there writing that that thing was going to be out in the first quarter of 2015. Now it's pushing all the way back to the end of the year. And that's also not good news for Tesla. We're looking at a demonstration of the Model X on Bloomberg television right now, and what you probably won't see in this little video is they couldn't even get the hatchback to open on this thing. It was that much of a nascent product. So many years into this now, they're still pushing out the delivery of this, kicking the can further down the road.
Matt DeLorenzo of Kelley Blue Book, you'd think that opening the hatch on the car is probably an essential feature. What about the automobile lineup? Isn't it aging at Tesla?
Well, it is a bit, and certainly the addition of the all-wheel drive system figures into their cutting back their deliveries next year, which is it's a good and bad thing. I mean, there'll be fewer Teslas out there, but the margins will be higher on these all-wheel drive versions. As far as the Model X is, the fact that they couldn't get that hatch open, is being confirmed by the fact that the vehicle will be late. I mean, it's a very complicated vehicle, especially with those unusual doors that they've decided to put on the vehicle. So that certainly factors into the delay that we're hearing about now.
Matt DeLorenzo, what about the cost of new Tesla automobiles? Won't there be competition if the price is set lower than the current level?
Well, there certainly will be more competition. They're going to have to come down market if they want to increase volume. Elon Musk has said that they want to sell 500,000 cars. Well, they're not going to sell 500,000 $100,000 cars. So they need to get down below $50,000 with a volume model. But then they're going to hit all sorts of competition, everything from the Nissan Leaf to the BMW i3.
Cory Johnson, if indeed this is a scenario that could be true, why did this stock increase in value? What gives it this valuation?
I was saying to someone before that I think there's no better example of a company where the company and the business are different from the stock. The stock is a tool of speculation and a tool of speculators. I mean, you've got nearly 30% of the shares outstanding sold short. You've got people who believe that Elon Musk can spin hair into gold, and so there's such great speculation. I mean, Graydon Carter of Vanity Fair, a brilliant guy, said that Elon Musk is some combination of Walt Disney and Steve Jobs and Thomas Edison, and he's not. He's Elon Musk. It's a company that loses boatloads of money, that's got a really interesting product that sells for less than the cost of getting it out to its customers. So, anyone can sell a dollar for 50 cents. He's got a really cool dollar that he's selling there, but it is still a money-losing product whose sales prospects are still quite uncertain. And we can see that in the numbers that came out today. We can see that sales rise despite, can you imagine what would happen if any other car maker were to get the publicity that Elon Musk has had in the last 13 months, would be on the cover of Vanity Fair as the most innovative person in the world, would be, getting all of this kind of attention, and yet the sales of the company's only product rise less than 3% in the quarter from the previous quarter? I mean, that's the environment that we're in right now, where the company is getting enormous attention for this product. It's starting to reach the limits of where it can go, right? There aren't other places really besides China that this car, as you pointed out, at over $100,000, which is probably about the average selling price. There aren't a lot of places it can go to grow further. They've got to grow the markets in which they're in, and in those markets, those sales are slowing down. And Pimm, as you pointed out, with every month, this car is increasingly long on the tooth. The 2013 model is not going to look as hot in 2015.
Matt, what about the Gigafactory? This is where Tesla says they're going to make all these batteries.
Well, they've announced the fact that they're going to build this battery factory outside of Reno to produce 500,000 batteries a year. They won't start with 500,000, but that's the goal, is to build it up to that level. But all those batteries have to go somewhere. And right now, Tesla, I don't believe, has the capacity at the Fremont facility to build 500,000 cars, or at least they haven't invested enough to put in the additional lines and the volume and to demonstrate that they have 10 times the sales they have now to give all those batteries a home. So what they need is a partner, and they need somebody who is going to buy a bunch of the batteries, and they need a strong market. It's kind of interesting that their two partners, Toyota and Daimler, recently sold most or all of their shares in the company. So there's a lot going on here that needs to be squared with what's going on in behind the scenes.